Welcome back. In today's Sunday Spotlight, we're talking about BMX racing. BMX is an acronym for Bicycle Motocross. And recently, the operators of Bethel Supercross BMX were inducted into the National BMX Hall of Fame. This morning, we're joined by Kathy Olson, one of those receiving the honor. Kathy, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Eric.
So tell me about this big honor. You and your late husband, Don, operate Bethel Supercross, and you got into the BMX Hall of Fame. When you got that news, what was your reaction?
I was stunned. First of all, I was just really stunned because I was doing something else when I got the call. And all of the members in the office in Arizona were on the call. And it brought me to tears just talking to them. And when we were talking about everything that was coming up and they mentioned the date of September 20th, I said, I can't come. And they said, and it was silence. It was my grandson's wedding in Georgia. So could not miss that.
Of course.
The wedding was 2 years in the planning. So I was going to Georgia.
Well, I know they had a big ceremony in Tulsa, and you weren't there, but you and Don were inducted. 40 years in BMX in Connecticut. Tell me about the community and why it's important for you to have this recognition, because there's a lot of people who got a lot of enjoyment on your track.
And it wasn't anything, and it's been 43 years now that we've been there, and it wasn't anything that I personally expected or was ever looking for. My husband started working on the track because he was in construction and knew people who had equipment. So the town gave us one place, and it was too small for the events. So they gave us another place, and the track had to be designed and then cut out of the woods, more or less. And we started with my son and other parents, and we just went from there. And it was a passion for my husband, and I was just along, to help wherever I could. My first job was bringing candy home every Saturday afternoon, so it was ready for next week's race.
There you go. Hey, candy's an important job. Don't say that the candy's not an important part of it, Kathy. Tell me about who can enjoy this, because I bet a lot of people watching would be surprised to know 1-year-olds on balance bikes can enjoy the track just as much as teenagers or adults, right?
Yes, when we first started, that program was probably not even thought of, and the kids used their training wheels normally to get their balance, but it doesn't really give them their balance. When they do the balance bike, they propel themselves with their feet, and they actually are balancing. And some of them take their feet off the ground and just coast as far as they can. And we have, there are a couple of one to 2-year-olds is one of the classes. It starts at 5, and then we have 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and then 1 to 2. And it's mainly back-breaking. Fathers and mothers are running behind them, making sure that they don't fall and that they keep going. So it's a lot of fun to watch, but it leads them into then having the balance and starting when they're 5, starting from the starting hill and balancing on the gate and doing the whole track. They traverse the whole track.
Well, I think anyone who's had a child learn how to ride a bike knows that, parent run, where you're running behind them, trying to keep them from falling. But as they get older, Kathy, tell me about that, because it becomes a big deal, especially as people begin to recognize and realize some success, right? There's a big community, and it's pretty competitive and pretty exciting.
Yes, and we have gotten into the Olympics. It's something that some kids shoot for that when they're young. Others just are enjoying themselves. But you can race against people your own age, your own proficiency, and set your own goals. That's the nice part about it. It's not, you can be on a team, but it's not a team sport where you have to play for the team. You're setting your own goals, and you can leave it, like a lot of the kids leave at 16, not all of them, but for jobs, and they have cars, they have to make their car payments, put gas in. And then they do come back, and some of them will come back with their kids. And it's a sport that's always there for them and their families.
Well, we've been looking at some pictures and some videos of what happens out there at the track. It's pretty cool stuff. I bet some people are watching on this Sunday morning saying, you know, Kathy, you just talked about your grandson's wedding. You're a grandmother. This looks dangerous to me. Do you have any advice if a parent's looking saying, oh, geez, I don't know if I want my child out there, Kathy?
It boils down to making sure they get enough instruction and go to clinics, and that's what we're doing. My son took over after my husband passed away, and my son was always involved anyway, but he is a coach with USA BMX and for our track, and he makes sure that on Thursday nights he does clinics, coaching, and that's the main thing. And then the parents can see that the consistency is there for us training them and trying to keep them safe. And we have all the equipment that they're supposed to have on too.
All right, so that's a good piece of advice for parents who might be a little bit nervous. We're just about out of time, but I just want to ask you this: to have this national honor, to be in the BMX Hall of Fame, something that your husband started, now your son has stepped in, you're still involved with it. So many people have come through that track. What does it mean, not just to you, but to the Bethel community and to the Supercross and the BMX community?
It's something that's just good for the family, from parents coming, grandparents coming, aunts and uncles, sisters, and you as old as you want. We have one gentleman who's 69. He races two bikes. He races a 20-inch and a cruiser, which is a bigger wheel frame and bigger wheel diameter. And he just enjoys himself. He's there to have fun and to get his exercise, and he also is a runner, so he's in very good shape. But it's good for us as a family that I have great grandchildren that are doing it too. They've come through the balance bike, and they're now. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter. She's now on her pedals.
Wow.
Coming
well,
from
listen,
the starting hill.
It's an incredible legacy, and it's a great honor that you received, and it's great to have a Hall of Famer here with us. Kathy Olson, thank you so much for being with us. Best of luck as you continue with everything out there. Thanks for joining us on CT25.
You're welcome, Eric. Thank you for having me.
That is CT25 for this week. CBS Sunday Mornings coming up next. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll, of course, meet you back here in Studio A next Sunday morning.